Okay, good morning, everybody. Good morning. It's nice to see you all. Not to see you, but at least we are chatting. Good morning, Mendoza, Hufui. I can see people from different parts of the country, and this is great. And I also know that a lot of teachers are following us on Facebook. So, welcome, everybody. And thank you for being here on a Saturday morning. Okay. And this time, Mariela and I are going to introduce Ferris and Mimi's Wheel. Ideal for kinder. Ideal from kinder. Hello, Salta. Hello, everybody. Great. Now, what is it? I cannot see you, but I can chat with you. As teachers in kinder, what is it that you need when you choose a book? Can you tell me what you look for in a good textbook? Let's see. I can see that you're writing new ideas. Okay. What else? San Luis, hello. Okay. I suppose you need colors, songs, lovely characters. Okay. So let's start. Teacher students interaction. Yes, games and good topics. Okay. I can assure you that we can offer you this and much more. Um, I told you that we are offering you Mimis and Fairies. They are very similar. They've got the same author, but they are slightly different in the target. That is, Mimi's Wheel is for children who are exposed to English, let's say 3 times a week, twice a week, for not for a lot of contact hours. While Fairies, it's got a workbook, so that means it's for more contact hours, okay? Maybe a bilingual school, maybe a pseudo bilingual school, okay? And if you teach in a religious institution or in an institute, or you just teach shorter periods, okay, you may use Mimi's Wheel. This series has got 3 levels, 1, 2, and 3, each for each of the salitas, of the sections in kinder, and I go on receiving things, interesting characters, amusing activities, easy to follow prompts, physical activities, right? This and much more. So 3 levels. But you mentioned interaction because the children we have nowadays in our classrooms are dynamic, are curious, they need activity. And they will get involved if they see they can interact. So I can assure you that both Mimis and Fairies are highly productive. The students are going to interact with you. They are going to respond each at his or her own level. Some students are going to respond using longer chunks, others just words, but each child is going to respond in some way. Another important characteristic is Carol Reed. Carol Reed, the author, Daniela says that she's using fairies and it's fantastic. Thank you, Daniela. Thank you for sharing. Yes, it is. Carol Reed is a very prestigious author and she guarantees proven pedagogy. She guarantees results. She guarantees that the course is going to be dynamic, entertaining. The stories are going to show a lot of other things apart from just language, a lot of values, a lot of interesting aspects, because the focus in the series and the focus in Carol's Reed's approach, I would say, is the child as a whole. As we teach language, as we develop linguistic skills, we are also developing other skills, other cognitive structures, other critical thinking strategies, okay? Analia says that she was about to start using Mimis, but the pandemic has broken out. Okay. And apart from this, it offers excellent digital components that you will see with Mariela later on. But I think that one very important feature is its very interesting and original approach. That is the hop on and off approach. What does it mean? The units are topic-based units in both Mimis and Fairies, but they don't have a number. You don't have unit 1, unit 2, unit 3. Why? Because we believe that each institution has got their own or its own project or projects. Each teacher follows the projects that the kindergarten teacher does. So sometimes it's difficult to adjust both. If in Spanish they are talking about toys, we cannot possibly start teaching classroom objects. The child is unique, and it's the same child that is in the Spanish classroom and in the English classroom. So this hop on and off approach gives us teachers the possibility to change the order. And the language that we teach in each of the units has been arranged, has been graded in such a way that you may start with the last unit and you may use the one that appears as number 2 as number 4. This is the hop on and off approach. It gives a lot of flexibility, and you know what? It's excellent because very often we find heads of the kinder section who refuse to use books or to allow us to use books, because they say precisely that very often the book for English has been written abroad, represents another reality, and it has no connection with what the child is doing in kinder in Spanish. Well, this is why we have taken the trouble to produce material that can be flexible and that covers the topics that all kinders cover all over the world. Okay? As you can see, something very interesting, the two pictures that you can see here. On the one hand, if you look at the left, you can see the puppet, the lovely puppet, Mimi, okay, that will help you to motivate students, that will help you to help your students feel more confident, because the child is not talking to the teacher. The child will be talking to Mimi. The child will be asking Mimi questions, okay? So Mimi for free if you adopt either Mimi's Wheel or Ferris Wheel. And the picture on the right is a lovely mat. A mat that we put on the floor every time we walk into the class. The mat is for the circle time. The mat is where all the teaching takes place. The mat is where all the revision and all the games take place. And these, the bubbles, the circles, they all have different colors because we work with colors and numbers all the time. Daniela says that she has the mat on the wall. Well, I mean, you may put it wherever you like, but ideally it's used for that, so that the children sit all around the mat, and you can use the mat on the floor to put cards on, to make the children pick cards from each of the bubbles, okay? Colors and numbers, essential, like in every course for little children, for very young learners. Now, another very important aspect, as I told you at the beginning, apart from working on vocabulary and some longer chunks of language, at this stage, we don't talk about grammar, we talk about pieces of language, expressions, okay? But apart from that, it's the child as a whole. And in kinder, it's very important to work on collaborative principles and the development of collaboration skills. And how do we do this? Well, in both series, throughout the lessons, throughout the units, there is always active learning. The child is active from the very beginning. This is why the mat is essential, because the child has to stand up and pick, has to stand up and put, has to move around and negotiate, has to interact with Mimi. There is active learning, active and very often unconscious. This is why the motto of the series is, they think they are playing. We know they are learning. It's unconscious. The same way we learn our mother tongue, okay? Carolina says that she uses the mats for videos. Okay, fantastic. Well, now this virtual reality has changed everything. I mean, now it's difficult to put it on the floor, and when you are using Zoom, for example, the children cannot see it unless you sit on the floor and you start teaching from there. Great. Then it follows a constructive approach. Constructive, not in a very theoretical way, but in a practical way. I mean, we always start from what the child knows. We always ask the child, and what happens to you? What happens at home? What happens in your reality? There is all the time this narrowing down of contents to the child's own reality. The teacher then becomes a facilitator. This is why there is unconscious learning. And the pupils all the time have to assume responsibility. The times when we used to say, listen and repeat, and say after me, and pay attention to this, those times are over. Children learn playing. Children learn doing. So they have to assume responsibility in different ways, okay? By sitting down and doing what the teacher says when they have to interact with their classmates, by asking and playing with Mimi, by choosing the right card, by learning and learning to play and agreeing to play with somebody that maybe they don't like so much, okay? Hello, Analia, again, welcome. Okay, and all the time we think about diversity. We teach children to embrace diversity, diversity in a broad sense of the word. Diversity is not only in terms of gender and sexuality, diversity embraces a lot of other concepts, okay, even mixed ability. So, diversity all the time. And how? In a concrete way. How do we do all this? We teach collaboration. We develop collaboration in the child through daily activities and interactions from the very beginning, the moment the child sits on the mat and starts playing, through songs and stories. There is even a song that talks about helping. That song, when we play it regularly, the child starts singing it unconsciously, and we can even use it to correct some kind of behavior pattern that doesn't go hand in hand with collaboration. Games. Games, the idea is that when you play games, you change the groups so that they learn to play with everybody. And of course, the projects that may be done in groups or pairs or now, talking about the key features in terms of content, because somebody here mentioned something original, something, well, content you wanted. It's not just teaching colors and numbers, not in a good series at least, okay? This is why it's very important to use a book. There are many teachers in kinder and many heads of kinder who say, no, it's better when the teacher creates the material. I'm afraid it's not the same. It's not the same because, first of all, not everybody can write a book. I mean, writers are experienced people who've got a lot of knowledge about a lot of things. I mean, pedagogy, psychology, methodology. Okay, so it's not that I can cut and paste activities and that's a book or a booklet. It's not logical. The book has got a philosophy, and it's much better when you follow the book. Hello, and I cannot pronounce it properly, Neelam or something like that from India. Welcome and thank you for being here today. Okay, lovely. So the hop on and off approach gives the series flexibility, and it gives us flexibility, maybe to take longer with a certain unit, maybe to make another unit shorter, maybe to change the order, maybe not to complete the whole unit. Then the content is absolutely great. The characters are a meerkat family. And so this creates a lovely or lovely stories because meerkats are really funny. And all the stories teach and raise a lot of values. Values in terms of a behavior that is worth imitating. Okay. There is a lot of collaboration throughout, and there is all the time a balance between fantasy and reality. That is, you've got the meerkat family stories and presentation activities, but also people, real people in videos, in photos, okay? So all this makes the content great. Plus, yes, the linguistic grading, because we need linguistic exposure. But then as regards the digital components, Mariela is going to talk about that. The tap and teach component, or the tap and teach approach, if you want, is going to guarantee great management if you learn how to use it. And of course, your students are going to be motivated because the activities become much more dynamic and interesting, fun, okay? And also the teacher's book. Because normally when we teach kinder, if you are a teacher of English, then it's not that we have a lot of training for kinder. We learn from experience. And if you are not a teacher of English, maybe you're a kindergarten teacher who knows English, then again, you need all the rest. So the teacher's book is a masterpiece. I really advise you to read it, to thumb through it, because you will learn a lot of things. The teacher's book has got all the tips, all the moments of the lesson, very complete and clear instructions, but also tips for teacher development, those things that we need to remember all the time. Now, what is the difference? If we have two books that are similar, Mimis and Fairies, what is the difference? Well, I told you the first and most important difference, that Mimis is for fewer periods of English and Fairies is for more periods of English. How many? That depends on how you work on it, okay? But if you have, for example, 2 meetings a week or 3 meetings a week, then you can use Mimis. If you've got more, if you've got meetings or contact hours on a regular basis, weekly, then you should use Ferris wheels. Now, Ferris has got American English. At this stage, that doesn't change much because children don't get all the pronunciation difficulties. And the kind of American English that we have is not highly affected, okay? But of course, because Ferris comes with a workbook, it's for more periods and it has also got more units, okay? As you can see in the table of contents there on the screen, Mimis has got fewer units, Ferris has got more. Ferris comes with a workbook and with more projects, okay? And also, although the units, the topic-based units are similar, they've got classrooms, toys, all that, but the number of vocabulary items we teach are different, okay? I mean, we teach fewer vocabulary items in Mimis than in Ferris, for example. Now, let's, something important. I want to show you the book. Look at the book. You see it's horizontal and the sheets are quite big because you know that at this stage, children, because of their motor skills, because of their notion of space, for different factors, they need bigger sheets. So the sheets are bigger than usual and the layout is horizontal. So it's very interesting because it requires motor skills to move on to the next page. Okay, that's another part of the learning process. Now, for you to get an idea, this is from Ferries. Okay, interesting presentation. Thank you, Silvana. Thank you very much. The example, we are going to walk through a unit, but this is Ferries. I am showing you the same, you see, the same thing, but in Mimis. You see that the number of items is lower. We teach fewer vocabulary items in Mimis just because we have fewer contact hours or maybe shorter hours, right? Now, the topic is the same, the main objective is the same. As you can see, just from the very beginning, we can tell you that you need stickers. If you look at the bottom of the page that you've got on the left, all these icons tell you what the children are going to do. This means that you don't only work on and with the student's book. The student's book and the workbook, that is, when the child uses the students and the workbook, that corresponds to what we call the table time. That is the second moment of the lesson. At the beginning, we have revision, games, songs, organization, and revision, which in a normal classroom situation is done on the mat. Then we go to the table where we work on the book. And there you've got all the different things the children are going to do. Okay? As you can see on the right, in the workbook, the workbook in Ferris is a mirror of the student's book. You're going to practice the same items in a different way. Okay? Let's go down. All this presentation is done using the puppet, using audios, playing games, okay? It's never listen and repeat, okay? It's playing with the cards. Then we move on to the second lesson, which revises. There is constant recycling of vocabulary because we are well aware of the fact that children forget, because when they leave the classroom, they don't speak English anymore. So we need to revise regularly, but we do this in every single lesson, plus the fact that we add one or two more items corresponding to the topic we are dealing with. Valeria asks, why is it that books for kinder are not in capital letters? Here in Argentina, for instance, kids first. Okay, Valeria, yes, I understand what you mean. In this case, in the case of, well, for us, kinder, uh, we don't include writing. There is a section in some books for letters, recognition of letters, which is optional. We never include that as part of the book itself, because in most kinders, that is done in Spanish, not in English. If you want to play with that, you need to use phonics, and that requires a completely different approach. Anyway, in most schools, they learn block capitals, and that's a fact. Now, these series are international. They come from abroad, usually from England. So you know that we are the only country in the world where children learn block capitals at the beginning, and they remain in that condition. In fact, so much so that perhaps it's different if you go to a bilingual school, but so much so that in most schools, they are still finding it difficult to read and write in third grade. So we try to avoid writing in kinder. It's true, Analia, that some kinders, not most of them, some teach them to read in Spanish and to recognize a few letters. However, they don't do it in English, okay? Because that would imply something different. In English, graphemes and phonemes don't go together, okay? But you can start working on pronunciation and reading in a game-like fashion, yes, but not writing, okay? Welcome, Vale. Hope I have answered your question. They can learn, yes, they can learn to read and write by simply copying, yes, but the name is different because their names, first of all, it's their own names, and that is personal, and they need it, okay? That is highly communicative. But then the names, their names, are in Spanish. So sounds and letters go hand in hand. That is not the case of English, okay? Remember that if you want to teach them properly, then you would need something like, I don't know, backpack, different sounds for the A sound, scissors. How are you going to teach them to write scissors? And the fact that it always takes an S. I mean, there are so many things. At this stage, we are not teaching writing, clearly not in English, okay? So I was telling you that in the second lesson, we present the same topic. We revise the same things we have seen, plus one or two more words to complete the idea. And again, the same is practiced in a different way in the workbook. You see that everything is interactive in a way. The child has to discover, the child has to match, the child has to color, the child has to choose, okay? And all the time in the teacher's book, you get tips, very concrete tips. Tips like, what should I do if children don't like speaking in a loud voice? What should I do if they don't like answering questions in front of the others? Very concrete things. Yes. There are some, Mariela says there are some literacy activities in the Teachers Resource Center if you want some notions, basic things, not teaching them to read and write in English. Clearly not, because that is not what we do. Okay, and of course you were asking for stories, all right? And there are stories. I told you that the meerkat family is the basis, the great trigger we have to teach stories. All the stories have got or show some kind of values. Values, not in terms of abstract things, but very concrete behavior patterns. What is right and what is wrong? What should we do? How should we help? Okay. And you know that stories are very, very important, not just in kinder. They are very, very important because the story has got characters, the story tells a story, the story has got values. But apart from that, look at this second part in the workbook. They have to remember the sequence, they have to remember the order. And what is that important? Why is that important? Because that is part of the cognitive development of the child. That is the basis for mathematical thinking. We normally associate stories with language, with literature, but sequencing is the basis for mathematical thinking, okay? It's one is followed by two. Now, if I say 2, 4, the next one is 6. All that you learn if you work from the very beginning with stories. And again, teachers' tips advising us on how to engage students, because first you have to engage the child so that then he listens to the story. Okay? Let's go on. And stories are animated. Mariela is going to show you, but then you have story songs. The song is an interesting component that is there all the time. You have helping songs, you have values songs, you have story songs, okay? Songs for hello, songs for goodbye. A lot of songs that you have to use all the time, not just here because it says story songs. And this is why here you've got tips that teach us that we have to play the song all the time. And if you feel that the children, for example, are paying too much attention to the lyrics or to the words, then you can play the karaoke version so that the rhythm is there. And you know what? Rhythm in connection with songs, rhythm is a very important feature to work on in kinder. You know that many of the special conditions of children, children who are dyslexic, children who may be autistic, a lot of these difficulties, we can notice them if we notice that the child cannot follow the rhythm. So rhythm is essential. This is why the song has to be there all the time. When, apart from the moment in the lesson, the moment when they are coloring, the moment when they are relaxing, the moment when they are putting things away, songs there all the time. I also spoke about reality and fiction, let's say. I also spoke about a balance between fantasy and reality. Well, this is a video with people. Now, it's not pictures. It's not the meerkat family. It's not the puppet. It's an uncle that visits the children. They have a conversation, and the context allows us to revise the vocabulary we have seen. Okay? A values page, a values lesson, again, good behavior, helping, the idea of helping, taking turns, respecting everybody, those ideas are all the time there, but all the time narrowing it down to the child's own reality. That is, the child has to draw what he does at home, what she does at home. They have to identify what is right and what is wrong, what they do and what they don't do, and how they can become better if they want to. And a content lesson that in the case of Mimi's, it's optional, so it's at the end depending on how much time you have. In the case of Ferris, it's there. Content is what we used to call Cleo. Content means other subjects, if you want. Now, in the case of kinder, other subjects has to do with social sciences or maybe with natural sciences. Of course, we are not going to teach physics here. In this case, talking about the different parts of the school and what we use them for. And a culture section that, again, as you can see here at the top, it's got a video, It's reality, it's not fiction, it's not fantasy. And these are like traditional songs, songs that children sing naturally in the States and in England. Many of the songs are, you can have YouTube videos as well, apart from this one, to show different people singing. So it's really funny and they are great. All the songs here aim at culture, language, but also integration of the body. Because the child, this is a more holistic approach. Here, the child has to do what the song says. For example, in this case, in this picture corresponds to wind the bobbing up, wind the bobbing down, to the right, to the left, to the back. Okay, so it's movement. It's following the rhythm, and this shows us when a child has got difficulty or not, and we have to pay attention to that. Okay, so traditional songs, great fun, body language. Yes, okay. Traditional stories too. Yes, okay. And because I told you at the beginning this question of recycling, constant recycling, and giving the child a sense of achievement, rounding up the unit, a review, where the child, in a way, summarizes the concepts he has learned, the vocabulary he has learned, and begins to self-assess his work. Self-assessment sounds simple, sounds like every day, but self-assessment requires a process. It has to do with a sense of what is right and what is wrong. So we have to develop the capacity, the skill to self-assess our work. It's not they just draw a smiling face. It's simply they have to be honest. They have to realize if they can or can't do it, if they did it but not so well, if they were too shy. This requires talking it over. This requires going very, walking very slowly and next to the children. So self-assessment is a very modern notion in terms of methodology, and again, it's here. But also with a corresponding teacher's tip, I mean, how to do it, okay? It's not so easy. It's not telling the child, draw a smile because you have done it. It's exactly the opposite. And finally, projects that may be in pairs, may be in groups, may be individual, and they require this making, producing, creating both with the mind and with the hands, and then using that to say things. Yes, Analia, a lot of TPR with all the songs, okay? So I told you also, Alejandra says the puppet helps a lot to overcome inhibition. Yes, of course. Children love playing with the puppet. They sometimes ask you to use the puppet themselves, and it's great because they take the role of the teacher and that empowers them. Okay, so the puppet is very, very important in kinder, essential. The child is no longer himself or herself when he's with the puppet, when he's talking to the puppet. So that is very important. It helps them a lot. Okay, and it's fantastic to see how they believe things. That's part of the innocence that they have. Okay, they believe they are talking to a meerkat, and it's great. So I was telling you about the and it's not a regular puppet. It's really lovely. Yeah. Analia says that her little ones love Dex. Well, Dex is lovely too, yes. But I'm going to be honest. Dex is lovely. Now, this Mimi's Wheel, the book is much more challenging. It's great. It's like more modern. It's a different approach. It's more original. And Analia, if you have not seen the puppet, contact your local rep, because I can assure you the puppet is lovely too. So I was talking about the teacher's book, and I was telling you that it's a masterpiece. It gives you everything you need. You, yes, Analia, go for it. Ask for your puppet. Okay. The moments of the lesson, I mean, things that we learn in methodology, okay, they are very well reflected in the teacher's book. The circle time, the table time, when we have to put everything in order because you are leaving, because we are leaving, then clear instructions to the teacher, exactly what we will need so that you get your materials ready in advance, okay? And then very precise ideas and instructions to be able to demonstrate. Because, and this is something essential, because in most teacher training courses, we are taught how to teach, but the focus is never on how to give instructions. I know many teachers whose activities fail, not because the activities are wrong, not because the activities are not original, but because they cannot transmit the instructions in an effective way. So here we are told exactly step by step how to demonstrate, making sure that everybody understands. Because when you have 30 and they all start asking, ¿Y cómo? And how? And where? And what is it? Then you go crazy and then they don't understand. Okay, so demonstrating and modeling, they are essential. And sometimes we forget about this. So here you've got the step by step to do that properly. We also, for the table time, we need to know and to tell the children what they will need and why. The materials are there. And we are also reminded that it's very important to monitor the child while they are doing that. So you see how, in terms of methodology, we pay attention to absolutely everything a good teacher needs. And then, okay, once you have done it, let's talk about it. Reflection afterwards, okay? All the steps and step by step. So now Mariela will go on with the digital components, which are so attractive.
Hi, hello everyone. Good morning. Thank you for being here. Can you all hear me? Is it okay? Can you hear me? Yes? All right. Thank you, thank you. Just checking, you know. This is this has been the key phrases during the pandemic. Can you hear me? Mute, unmute. Yes, those are the key phrases nowadays. Okay, I'm going to show you some the digital resources, yes, for Mimi's and Ferris Wheel. So just a second, I need to move. All right, just a second. Okay, here I go. So first of all, I'm going to tell you, yes, is it okay? Sorry, here I go. Yes, it's okay. Okay, first of all, I'm going to show you what we have for teachers. We have, when you get the teacher's book, you have to activate a code, an exclusive code to access to this material. You will have the teacher's resource bank. I'm going to show you what you can find there. Tap and Teach on Navio, and a classroom management tool. And students are going to get the pupils game on Navio. Yes, when they get their students book, they also have an access code, and they get this pupils game on Navio. I'm going to show you, probably you have seen at the beginning of the meeting, yes. Sorry, my internet connection. I don't know what happened, especially with this platform, with Click Meeting. I don't know why. Can you hear me and can you see me now? Sorry. Yes, okay, thank you. Thank you, sorry. Okay, just a minute, but I panicked, you know, I panicked. Don't worry, don't worry, thank you. Okay, so students are going to have the pupils app on Navio, yes? And okay, here we go. What is it that you are going to find in the Teacher's Resource Bank? Well, you will have access to an adaptation pack, which is a bank of activities that you can use, especially at the beginning of the year. Then you are going to have posters and story cards, evaluation materials, reports, letter to parents, assessment and development worksheets, some literacy and worksheets as well with mathematics and some early notions of reading and writing. Somebody was asking, you have these basic notions as if you want to start introducing that. The audios and the teacher training videos. The teacher training videos are a great resource. They are videos where you are going to find Carol Reed, the author, talking about different features of the book. For example, of how to manage a class, how to use a puppet, how to use the wheel mat. Yes, they are great videos. Whether you are an experienced teacher to update because there's always something new to learn, or if you are just beginning to teach English, these are going to be a great resource. This is all downloadable material which is ready to use in your classes. So this is the teacher's resource bank. Now we go to the digital resource. And what is Navio? Yes, the concept of Navio is different from other platforms. I beg your pardon. Navio, it's a digital experience. It's more than just a digitalized course book. For the teachers, it's a learning pathway with different tools and resources. They are all integrated in the same place. And for students, Navio encourages greater participation and better language acquisition because it provides innovative and an immersive 3D world through the game app. We are going to see some images of that. These games, yes, we know they engage and to engage and motivate students, offering language activities, but in a gamified environment. So, as the slogan of the series is, they know that they think they are playing, but we know they are learning. Yes, and the rationale behind Navio is gamification. What do we mean by gamification? We know that what motivates players, most computer games, is a challenge to earn points or badges and to accumulate enough to advance to the next level. So the same principle applies into the design of some classroom activities, and especially online activities. Yes, so we call that gamification. This idea of points and levels and badges that act as extrinsic motivation is what we have to offer for students. Yes, and now I'm going to show you some of this. Yes. All right. Let's go to the next. Yes. So the teacher's app on Navio. Yes, we can call it app. We can call it platform. Yes, it depends, but it's all the solution. All the digital solutions are there. For the teachers, you are going to have tap and teach lessons. This is the presentation tool that you are going to use in your classes. Tap and teach, yes, which integrates the content. You will have there, everything there. The pupils book, flashcards, videos, audio, and also a reward system. Yes, you can create classes and follow your students' progress in the app. Yes, of course, we are talking about kinder, maybe they are too little, but well, it's up to you. We have everything. Then you adapt to your reality, what you want to use with all the resources that we are giving you. Okay, this is the Tap and Teach. Yes, when you download the app, you are going to have the Tap and Teach lessons, the progress tracker, the game, yes, the class management tool, and also you can go to the resource bank, which is what I showed you before, what you're going to find in Macmillan Education Everywhere portal. Yes, the Tap and Teach lessons, there you are going to use to present in your classes, and you can download the units that you need so that it doesn't clog your memory. Yes, this is a very useful, and you can use it offline. Yes, especially when we go back to school. This is great. Yes, now everything needs to be online. As this talk that I see my popping up the conexión es inestable, and my heart is beating hard. Well, but you know how it feels. Okay, but I hope it's not it doesn't get it's not cut my internet connection. Okay, so when you go to Tap and Teach, you're going to see the page of the lesson. Yes, in this case, you have the song there. Yes, so you can listen to the song, the animated stories, the animated story songs, as Ale was saying. Yes, and here you have the tools. I'm going to show you very briefly which are the tools that you can use. Yes, this is the carousel where you can navigate through the unit. So you can look for the activity that you want to use in your class. Yes, this is one of the tools. Then you also have the page of the book. Yes, you have some simple tools to use, such as the pencil or masking. Yes, you can cover part of the picture and create interest, especially in the stories. Yes, help me a lot with all the resources. Thank you, Daniela. Thank you. Yes, your opinion is the best, or is the best publicity. Yes. Okay. Then we have flashcards, which are integrated, because we know the vocabulary needs practice and recapping and everything. Yes, so you have the images, the words. Yes, if you want to start introducing literacy, and also the sound. Yes, so they can listen to the sound and have the image, and they can connect that and start developing their vocabulary. Yeah, so you have the flashcards integrated in the Tap and Teach Navio. You can also filter the activities that you need. Yes, for example, if you're using a Ferris wheel, this is not the example, yes, but if you're using Ferris wheel, you will have the pupils, the activity, the flashcards, and the extra. So in a class, we know that sometimes we don't use all the components. So you can filter which components you want to use in the class, yes, and have them all ready. Yeah, so you don't have to skip activities, which might be a bit confusing. You have all filter. You can filter the activities that you want to use in that class. So you can choose from the available components. And then, as I told you, when you create a class, yes, you can also reward your students for what they do in the class. Yes, then I'm going to show you what students do. Yes, students can play in the app, the language practice that they need, but you can also, and they get they earn points, and they can advance and move on to the next level. Or you can also reward students in the classroom. Yes, because the idea of gamification is for both the homeschool connection, but also in the school. Yes, you create a class. Yes, you can also divide students into groups. Yes, many teachers have told me that students love this tool, because when the tool divides the class into groups, it's like a surprise element. Yes, and it also integrates the classroom, so students don't work with the same students every time. Yes, it's just, and it's the machine which divides the students, not the teachers. Yes, so you can divide your class in up to 4 teams, and then again reward teams, reward students individually. Yes, you can do that as well. Okay, this is the progress tracker. Yes, the manage class, the class management tool, the how to manage the class, that is to say how you set up, how students join your class, the progress tracker where you can follow your students' progress, and again you can go to the resource bank. Yes, It's an interesting resource. Yes, it's an interesting tool. Exactly. It's great. Yeah, you have the class. Yes. Of course, then if you are interested, I can give you more details. I cannot because this is just a presentation, but we give special training to teachers who adopt the materials on Navio on how to use and how to make the most of the tool. All right, this is the class. Yes, you add your students. And let's see what students have on Navio. Yes, they have the language game and rewards, the animated stories, the songs and animated song videos, and also the real world videos that are part of the speaking section. Yes, and as you see, these interactive activities, students navigate as if they were playing in a video game. Yes, I'm going to show you now. The students choose their avatar. Yes, can be a boy or a girl. They can change the skin color. They can choose the clothes. And as they get more points, as they earn more points by playing, but it's actually by practicing the language, they can buy, customize their avatar. Yes, for example, I'm going to show you. Yes, they can change the clothes they need points to do this. So this acts as extrinsic motivation. And from what I'm told, students love to do this. Yes, they change, and because it's what they usually do when they play games. Yes, but in this way, they're going to be learning and practicing the language. Yes. Okay, so here is the unit map. They can hop on the unit they want. Yes, again, this is the concept of the book as Alejandra explained. They hop on and off. So they choose a unit, or you tell them, yes, go to unit, go to family, so you synchronize your teaching and what they are going to do. And they have to carry out the activities. Yes, this is the 3D world. They can also choose a character to help them. It can be Mimi or it can be the little brother. Yes. Visually, it's very attractive. Yes. And whenever they jump onto these green octagons, they open the interactive activities. Yes. And students love to do this. Yes. To navigate and to try. And teachers don't even need to explain what they have to do. Students intuitively know, because it's a very intuitive tool as well. Yes, I had to be taught how to do this by my niece, who was 7 years old in that time. Yes, because I didn't know, but I'm from a different generation. For them it's natural. It comes natural. So for example, here they have to listen and color the clothes, for example, so they are practicing vocabulary and color. And something interesting is that they have to do the activities twice. Yes, the first time they do the activities, and the second time they have a timer. So this adds an extra challenge. This is another type of activity, listen and match. The activities follow the same structure as the book. Yes, vocabulary, skills, the story, the song. So they go back to the app and they have more exposure to the language. This is the idea. For example, here they have to watch the story again, yes, and they need to watch the story in order to, they cannot skip it. They have to watch it in order to move to the next level and earn these points. And when they finish the activities, yes, you have the character telling them, well done, or try again, yes, and they get the badges, the points and the badges as well. Okay, so this was just a very short tour on the digital resources that we have available. I don't know if you have any questions. No questions? Oh, sorry. Somebody is writing. Was very short. It would be great to show you in detail, but well, if you decide to use Mimis or Ferris wheel, we can provide you with a specific session on this, so that you can make the most of this tool. All right.
Okay.
I don't know if you have any questions, Alejandra, as well.
No questions? Okay then. Yes.
Okay,
Thank
great.
you. Yes,
Thank you,
okay.
Silvana. Thank you.
So you know that if you start using Mimis or Fairies, you should get in contact with us or with your local rep, and we give you the teacher's book. Maria can offer you a sort of training session so that you can make most of this app. And well, best of luck. Have a very, very good 2021. We hope this pandemic is over and we can all go back to class. You've got an email address there, so you can contact us, or you can also contact us via the social networks, and we are all the time there ready to help you.
Somebody, sorry, was asking about the trouble with Navio. No, Navio is working well. There might have been some trouble, especially at the beginning of the year, because you know that the whole world moved online. So there weren't any platform ready for all the prepared enough for all the users. Yes, but now that we know that this is going to be like the new normal, or at least something, a mix of both worlds, the digital and the face-to-face, it's working okay. Yes, it has to do with connection issues and that. Yes.
Yeah. Can we go back, please, to the changing of clothes of the characters of the avatar, please? Milagros is asking how to do it. If we can go back to the slide.
Yes, unfortunately, just a second. I don't have because of the connection problems. Yes, I don't have the. Yes, you have to go to the when the children choose an avatar. Yes, the face, you have to get there to have. Let me see if I can show you. No, I don't have it here. Yes, well, you go to the face. Yes, the icon with the face, and here you move. Yes, if we want to change something of the face or the trousers, yes, you have to navigate there, and yes, using the arrows you can choose, and you need to have the points. Yes, here for example,
right, you need the reward.
You need the reward. Has 865 points, so she has enough. And what's interesting, yes, is that when you choose to buy something, they tell you, are you sure you want to buy this? So in a way, I think it's teaching little kids to think before doing something. Yes, are you sure you want this coat and not that one? Or maybe it might be a backpack. Yes, all the objects that they can buy to customize their avatar. So they ask you, are you sure? Yes, no. So it's interesting that as well. Yes. Okay. Great. And move back to here. You have our details. Yes. So I think this will be all. Ale?
Okay. If that's all, then thank you very much.
Thanks a lot.
Best of luck, and thank you for joining us. Okay?
Yes.
See you soon. Bye-bye.
Have a nice day. Bye-bye. Thank you.